She's standing in his bedroom. The most dangerous mafia boss in Chicago. Everyone says he's blind. Has been for 2 years. That's why he needs a living caretaker. Alessia thinks she's alone. Thinks he can't see her. So she starts changing out of her work clothes. Unbuttons her blouse. Reaches for the clasp of her. And he smiles. Just a small smile. Barely there. But it's there. On the face of a man who's supposed to be blind. Alessia freezes. Stares at him. He's sitting in his chair by the window. Dark sunglasses on. Face turned toward her. So unmoving. Like he didn't just smile while watching her undress. Either she's losing her mind, or Dante Moretti has been faking blindness for 2 years. And if he's been faking, that means every vulnerable moment she's had around him, every conversation, every touch, every time she thought she was invisible, he's seen it all. By the end of this story, you'll understand why a mafia boss pretended to be blind, why he hired a woman he's been obsessed with for months, and what happens when she discovers his secret. Real quick, hit subscribe right now. This story is going to get intense. Drop your country in the comments. Let's see if we can hit 100 countries today. Now let me tell you about the woman who was hired to care for a blind man, and discovered he'd been watching her the entire time. Dante Moretti, 35 years old, runs the Moretti crime family, one of the most powerful organizations in Chicago. Drugs, weapons, money laundering, protection rackets. He controls it all. 2 years ago there was an attack. A rival family, the Calabrese, tried to take him out. Car bomb. Dante survived. But the explosion left him with severe injuries. Burns. Broken bones. And according to every doctor, complete blindness. The damage to his optic nerves was catastrophic. Irreversible. Dante Moretti would never see again. That's what everyone believes. The doctors. His family. His enemies. Everyone. But it's a lie. Dante can see perfectly fine. The blindness? An act. A strategy. A way to make his enemies think he's weak. Vulnerable. No longer a threat. And for 2 years he's played the role perfectly. Wears dark sunglasses always. Uses a cane. Lets people guide him. Acts helpless. Meanwhile, he's been running his empire from the shadows. Making moves nobody suspects because they think he's disabled. He's brilliant. Ruthless. Exactly the kind of thing Dante Moretti would do. But maintaining the lie is exhausting. He needs someone around constantly. Someone to help him. Someone whose presence justifies why he stays home, why he needs assistance, why he stepped back from public operations. He needs a caretaker. That's where Alessia comes in. Alessia Romano. 26 years old. Certified nursing assistant. Grew up in Little Italy, Chicago. Daughter of a restaurant owner. Good Italian family. She's worked as a caretaker for 3 years. Elderly patients mostly. People who need help with daily tasks. She's good at her job. Patient. Kind. Professional. She's also beautiful. Long dark hair. Brown eyes. Curves in all the right places. The kind of beautiful that makes men stare. That makes them stupid. Dante first saw her 6 months ago. She was visiting her father's restaurant, Romano's, 2 blocks from one of Dante's legitimate businesses. He was there for a meeting. Saw her laughing with her father. Saw the way she moved. The way she lit up the room. He wanted her. Immediately. Intensely. In a way he hasn't wanted anyone in years. But Dante doesn't do relationships. Doesn't do romance. His life is too dangerous. Too complicated. Women in his world are either business arrangements or brief distractions. Nothing more. So he pushed the attraction aside. Forgot about the beautiful woman at Romano's. Then he needed a caretaker. And his underboss mentioned that Romano's daughter is a certified nursing assistant. Looking for work. Would be perfect for the job. Dante saw an opportunity. A way to have Alessia close without the complications of a relationship. She'd be his employee. His caretaker. Professional. Distant. Safe. He didn't account for what it would be like having her in his home every day. Touching him. Caring for him. Being close. While he had to pretend he couldn't see her. It's torture. Beautiful, exquisite torture. Alessia gets the job offer through a placement agency. Private client. Excellent pay, 3 times what she normally makes. Live-in position. Caring for a blind man who needs assistance with daily tasks. The client's name isn't disclosed initially. Just that he's a businessman who values privacy. The agency assures her it's legitimate. Safe. They vetted him thoroughly. Alessia needs the money. Her father's restaurant is struggling. Medical bills from her mother's cancer treatment 3 years ago. Debt piling up. This job could save her family. She accepts. The agency sends her to an address in Gold Coast, Chicago's wealthiest neighborhood. Massive mansion behind security gates. Armed guards at the entrance. This is a private residence, the guard says. You're expected. ID please. Alessia shows her ID. They check a list. Let her through. She walks up to the front door. It opens before she can knock. A man in his 50s. Well-dressed. Cold eyes. Miss Romano, he says. I'm Vincent. Mr. Moretti's head of security. Follow me. Mr. Moretti? Alessia repeats. As in Dante Moretti? Vincent looks at her. You didn't know who your client was? The agency didn't say, Alessia admits. They just said a businessman who needed. She stops. Understanding. Dante Moretti. The Mafia boss. Mr. Moretti prefers entrepreneur, Vincent says dryly. But yes. Is that a problem? Alessia should say yes. Should walk away. Her father has always told her to stay away from that life. The Mafia. The violence. The danger. But she thinks about the debt. The struggling restaurant. The desperate need for money. No, she says. No problem. Good, Vincent says. Mr. Moretti is in the study. I'll introduce you. They walk through the mansion. It's stunning. Modern. Expensive. Art on the walls. Marble floors. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Lake Michigan. Vincent stops at a door. Knocks. Sir, Miss Romano is here. Send her in, a voice says. Rich. Commanding even through the door. Vincent opens it. Gestures for Alessia to enter. The study is large. Bookshelves lining the walls. Massive desk. Leather furniture. And by the window, sitting in a chair, is Dante Moretti. Alessia has seen photos. News articles. Courtroom sketches from various trials he's beaten. But in person he's more. Taller. More dangerous. More attractive than any criminal has a right to be. He's wearing dark sunglasses. His face is turned toward the window. He doesn't acknowledge her entrance. Mr. Moretti, Vincent says. Miss Romano is here. Thank you, Vincent, Dante says. You can leave us. Vincent exits. Closes the door. Alessia is alone with one of Chicago's most dangerous men. Miss Romano, Dante says. His head turns slightly toward her. Not quite accurate. A blind person's approximation of direction. Thank you for coming. Please sit. Alessia sits in the chair across from him. Studies his face. The dark glasses hide his eyes. His expression is neutral. Controlled. I understand you're a certified nursing assistant, Dante says. Yes, sir, Alessia says. 3 years of experience. I've worked with elderly patients, post-surgery recovery, and long-term disability care. Good, Dante says. I need someone for long-term disability care. As you probably know, I lost my sight 2 years ago. I require assistance with daily tasks. The position is live-in. You'd have your own suite. Private bathroom. Full access to the house and grounds. What exactly would my duties include? Alessia asks. Basic assistance, Dante says. Help with reading documents. Organizing my day. Guiding me when I need to go somewhere. Ensuring I don't injure myself. Simple tasks. You have security, Alessia points out. Staff. Why do you need a personal caretaker? Because I prefer someone trained, Dante says. Someone professional. My security handles threats. You'd handle me. The way he says, handle me, makes Alessia's stomach flip. She ignores it. The pay is generous, Dante continues. $50,000 a month. Plus room and board. Plus benefits. Alessia's breath catches. $50,000 a month? Is that acceptable? Dante asks. That's more than generous, Alessia says. That's excessive. I value privacy, Dante says. Discretion. Loyalty. You'd be privy to my daily life. My routines. My vulnerabilities. That information is worth protecting. You're paying me to keep quiet about what I see, Alessia translates. I'm paying you to do your job well and respect my privacy, Dante corrects. Can you do that? Alessia thinks about $50,000 a month. In 6 months she could clear her family's debt completely. In a year she'd have savings. Security. Freedom. Yes, she says. I can do that. Good, Dante says. He stands. Reaches for a cane leaning against his chair. Vincent will show you to your room. You start tomorrow. Move in tonight if you need to. Thank you, Mr. Moretti, Alessia says. Call me Dante, he says. We'll be living together. Formality is unnecessary. He walks past her, taps the cane ahead of him, moving like a blind man who's learned his environment. Perfect. Practiced. Alessia watches him go. Thinks this job is going to be interesting. She has no idea how right she is. Alessia moves in that night. Her suite is on the second floor. Bedroom. Bathroom. Small sitting area. It's bigger than her entire apartment. She unpacks, changes into comfortable clothes, explores her new space. There's a door connecting her suite to another room. She tries it. Locked from the other side. That's Mr. Moretti's room, Vincent says from behind her. Alessia jumps. I didn't hear you. Nobody does, Vincent says. The connecting door is for emergencies. If Mr. Moretti needs you in the night, you can hear him from your room. But don't enter unless he calls. He values his privacy. Understood, Alessia says. Breakfast is at 7, Vincent continues. Mr. Moretti takes his meals in the dining room. You'll assist him. Lunch is at noon. Dinner at 7 p.m. He has a strict schedule. What does he do all day? Alessia asks. Runs his businesses, Vincent says. Phone calls. Meetings. He manages everything from here. You'll help him with reading, writing, anything he needs. Does he go out? Alessia asks. Rarely, Vincent says. He's self-conscious about his disability. Prefers to stay home. Alessia nods. I'll do my best to make him comfortable. See that you do, Vincent says. Mr. Moretti is particular. He doesn't tolerate mistakes. Is that a threat? Alessia asks. That's a fact, Vincent says. Good night, Miss Romano. He leaves. Alessia stands in her new room, thinking she just took a job working for a blind mafia boss who's particular and doesn't tolerate mistakes. This is either the best or worst decision she's ever made. The first week is an adjustment. Dante is demanding, precise, wants things done exactly his way. But he's not cruel, not harsh, just exacting. Alessia helps him dress in the mornings. He stands still while she selects clothes from his organized closet. Everything is labeled in Braille. Or so she thinks. Really, Dante can see perfectly. But he lets her help. Lets her touch him. Adjust his collar. Fix his tie. It's the closest he's been to a woman in years. And it's killing him. She reads to him. Documents. Reports. Newspapers. Her voice is soft. Melodic. He could listen to her read the phone book and be content. She guides him around the house. Her hand on his arm. Or his hand on her shoulder. Physical contact that's professional but feels intimate. Dante is very good at pretending to be blind. Never looks directly at her. Never reacts to visual cues. Lets her lead. Trusts her guidance. But he sees everything. The way she bites her lip when she's concentrating. The way she tucks her hair behind her ear when she's nervous. The way she moves through his space like she's dancing. Graceful. Unconscious of her own beauty. He's obsessed. Completely obsessed. And she has no idea. 2 weeks in, Alessia makes a mistake. She forgets that Dante can't see her. That he's blind. That she's invisible to him when he's not paying attention. It's evening. She's in her suite. The door to Dante's room is locked. She thinks he's asleep. Or working. Either way, occupied. She decides to change. Get out of her work clothes. Take a shower. She strips down to her underwear. Reaching for her robe. That's when she hears it. A small sound from Dante's room. Like furniture moving. She freezes. Listens. Nothing more. She's being paranoid. He can't see her through a locked door. He probably just knocked something over. She turns toward her closet. Starts to unhook her bra. And through the crack under the connecting door, she sees light. Not lamplight. Screen light. Like from a computer or phone. Which means Dante is awake. Working. Right on the other side of the door. But he's blind. So it doesn't matter. He can't see through doors. Alessia finishes undressing. Wraps herself in a robe. Goes to take a shower. What she doesn't know is that Dante heard her moving. Heard every sound. And he sat perfectly still, gripping the arms of his chair, fighting the urge to open that door. He didn't watch her through any mirror or panel. That would be too obvious. Too risky. But knowing she was right there, undressing just feet away from him, it took every ounce of control he had to stay seated. He's Dante Moretti. He takes what he wants. Except her. Her, he can only want from a distance. For now, 3 weeks in, Alessia starts to notice things. Small things. Inconsistencies. Dante's head turns toward her before she speaks. Like he knows she's there. Like he can see her. He reaches for things with too much accuracy. grabbing a glass of water on the first try, finding documents on his desk without fumbling. He comments on her appearance. "You sound tired today," he says. "Rough night?" How does he know she looks tired if he can't see her? "I didn't sleep well," Alessia admits. "Your room comfortable enough?" Dante asks. "The room is fine," Alessia says. "Just adjusting. New place. New routine." "Of course," Dante says. "Let me know if you need anything. I want you comfortable here." His concern seems genuine. But there's something underneath. Something Alessia can't quite identify. She starts paying closer attention. Watching him. Testing him. She drops something. A pen. Deliberately. Dante's head turns toward the sound. Exactly toward it. Not approximating. Precise. She stands behind him. Silent. Completely still. His shoulders tense. Like he knows she's there. Like he can sense her. She moves an object on his desk. A paperweight. Just an inch to the left. Dante reaches for it later. Goes directly to its new location. Doesn't fumble. Doesn't search. Just knows. Either he has supernatural abilities or he's not blind. Alessia doesn't want to believe it. Doesn't want to think Dante has been lying to everyone for 2 years. That he's been lying to her. But the evidence is mounting. She decides to test him. Definitively. If you're watching this and you think you know where this is going, trust me, you don't. What happens next changed everything. Keep watching. It's late. After midnight. Dante is in his study. Alessia is supposed to be asleep. But she's not. She's standing in his doorway. Silent. Watching. Dante is at his computer. Not using text-to-speech software. Not using any accessibility tools. Just typing. Reading the screen. Working like a fully sighted person. And his sunglasses are off. For the first time since Alessia met him, she sees his eyes. They're gray. Sharp. Intelligent. Completely functional. Dante Moretti is not blind. Alessia's breath catches. Audibly. Dante's hands still on the keyboard. He doesn't turn around. Doesn't acknowledge her. But his posture changes. Tense. Alert. "How long have you been standing there?" Dante asks. His voice is calm. Controlled. But Alessia hears the edge underneath. "Long enough," Alessia says. "You can see." Silence. Long, heavy. Then Dante stands. Turns to face her. Without his sunglasses. Making direct eye contact. "Yes," he says simply. "I can see." "For how long?" Alessia asks. "Since the accident? Or did you recover?" "I never lost my sight," Dante admits. "The blindness was always a lie." Alessia processes this. 2 years. "You've been faking for 2 years." "Yes," Dante says. "Why?" Alessia asks. "Strategy," Dante says. "My enemies think I'm weak. Vulnerable. It gives me an advantage. They underestimate me. Make mistakes. I capitalize on those mistakes. So this whole thing, the caretaker, the assistants, me, it's all theater?" Alessia's voice rises. "You don't need me. You never did." "That's not entirely true," Dante says. He steps closer. "I need someone here. To maintain the illusion. Vincent. My staff. They all believe I'm blind. Having you here, having a caretaker, it reinforces the lie. So I'm a prop," Alessia says. "A tool to help you deceive everyone." "You're an employee," Dante corrects. "Doing a job. A job I'm paying you very well to do." "A job based on a lie," Alessia says. "Did you hire me specifically because I didn't know you? Because I'd be easier to deceive?" Dante is quiet. Too quiet. "Oh my God," Alessia breathes. "You've been watching me. Haven't you? Every moment I thought I was invisible, you could see me." Dante doesn't deny it. "Every time I adjusted your clothes. Every time I guided you. Every time I thought you couldn't see my face, you saw everything." Alessia's voice shakes. With anger. With violation. "You sick son of a—" "I know," Dante interrupts. "I know it's wrong. I know I shouldn't have. But I couldn't help myself." "Couldn't help yourself?" Alessia repeats. "You're a grown man. You absolutely could have helped yourself. You chose not to." "You're right," Dante says. "I chose to watch. I chose to want you. I chose to hire you knowing I'd be torturing myself seeing you every day. And I'd do it again. Because having you here, even knowing I can't have you, is better than not having you at all." Alessia stares at him. "That's the most messed up thing I've ever heard." "Probably," Dante agrees. "I'm not a good man, Alessia. I've never pretended to be. But I'm honest about what I want. And I want you." I've wanted you since the first time I saw you at your father's restaurant. You saw me months ago, Alessia says. You've been planning this. Yes, Dante admits. I saw you. Wanted you. Tried to forget you. Then I needed a caretaker. And the opportunity presented itself. So I took it. I always take what I want. I'm not a thing you can take, Alessia says. I know, Dante says. That's why I haven't touched you. Why I've stayed professional despite wanting nothing more than to. He stops. Controls himself. I hired you. I've watched you. I've tortured myself with your presence. But I haven't crossed the line of actually touching you. That's where I draw my boundaries. Your boundaries are insane, Alessia says. Yes, Dante agrees. But they're mine. And now you know the truth. So what do you do with it? I should quit, Alessia says. Walk out right now. You should, Dante agrees. But you won't. Why not? Alessia challenges. Because you need the money, Dante says bluntly. Your family's debt. Your father's struggling restaurant. You need this job. And I'm offering you $50,000 a month to do essentially nothing. All I ask is that you continue the charade. Help me maintain the illusion that I'm blind. Alessia wants to leave. Wants to tell him to go to hell. But he's right. She needs this job. Desperately. If I stay, Alessia says slowly. New rules. No more invasions of privacy. You want me here as a prop? Fine. But you don't get anything beyond professional interaction. Agreed, Dante says. And I want the truth, Alessia continues. No more lies. If I'm going to help you maintain this deception, I deserve to know why. Really why. Not just strategy. I want to understand. Dante studies her. Then nods. Okay, I'll tell you everything. But not tonight. Tonight, you need to decide if you're staying. If you can live with what you know. I'm staying, Alessia says. But not because I forgive you. Because I need the money. That's the only reason. I'll take whatever reason keeps you here, Dante says. Alessia turns to leave. Stops at the door. Dante? One more thing. Yes. If you ever lie to me again about something this big, I don't care how much you're paying me. I'm gone. And I'll tell everyone your secret. Understand? Understood, Dante says. Alessia goes back to her room. Lies in bed. Stares at the ceiling. She's working for a mafia boss who's faking blindness. Who hired her because he's obsessed with her. Who's been watching her this entire time. She should be horrified. Should be packing her bags. Instead she's intrigued. Dante Moretti is dangerous. Deceptive. Controlling. But he's also honest about what he wants. And there's something compelling about a man that powerful admitting he's weak for her. Alessia knows she's playing with fire. But maybe, just maybe, she wants to see how close she can get without getting burned. The next morning, Alessia comes downstairs. Dante is at breakfast. Sunglasses back on. Playing blind again. Good morning, Alessia, he says. Sleep well. As well as can be expected, Alessia says. She pours herself coffee. Sits across from him. We need to talk. About? Dante asks. Playing innocent. About your blindness, Alessia says. Or lack thereof. You said you'd tell me everything. Start talking. Dante is silent for a moment. Then, Vincent leave us. Vincent, who was standing nearby, exits. They're alone. Dante removes his sunglasses. Looks directly at Alessia. What do you want to know? Everything, Alessia says. Why fake blindness? Why maintain it for 2 years? What's the end game? Dante leans back. 2 years ago the Calabrese family tried to kill me. Car bomb. I survived. But they think the explosion blinded me. My doctor, who's on my payroll, confirmed it publicly. Medical records were altered. Everyone believes I'm disabled. Why let them think that? Alessia asks. Because blind men aren't threats, Dante explains. Disabled leaders get replaced. Get pushed aside. Get killed more easily. The Calabrese thought they'd weaken me. They relaxed. Got comfortable. Meanwhile, I've been dismantling their operation piece by piece. They never saw me coming. Literally. So it's revenge, Alessia says. It's survival, Dante corrects. In my world, any weakness is fatal. I turned their attack into my advantage. Let them think they'd won. Then I destroyed them from the shadows. And now? Alessia asks. The Calabrese are gone. Why keep pretending? Because there are always enemies, Dante says. Always someone looking for an opening. As long as they think I'm blind, they underestimate me. It's too valuable to give up. So you'll what? Pretend to be blind forever? Alessia asks. Maybe, Dante says. Or until I don't need the advantage anymore. Alessia processes this. And me? Where do I fit in? You make it believable, Dante says. A blind man living alone is suspicious. A blind man with a live-in caretaker is logical. You give my deception legitimacy. I'm cover, Alessia says. You're essential, Dante corrects. And you're compensated accordingly. And the watching? Alessia asks. How does that fit into your master plan? Dante's expression shifts. Something vulnerable showing through. That was purely selfish. Nothing to do with business. Everything to do with wanting something I can't have. You're one of the most powerful men in Chicago, Alessia points out. You can have anything you want. Not you, Dante says quietly. You're not for sale. Not for hire. Not available to be taken. You're here doing a job. That's all. And I respect that. Even if I hate it. But you still want me, Alessia says. Every second of every day, Dante admits. But I won't touch you. Won't cross that line. You work for me. The power dynamic makes consent complicated. So I'll want you from a distance. And I'll live with it. Alessia shouldn't be affected by this. Shouldn't feel anything but anger. But there's something about Dante's brutal honesty that's appealing. He's not hiding what he wants. Not pretending to be noble. Just admitting he's a man who wants something he can't have. What if the power dynamic changed? Alessia hears herself ask. Dante goes very still. What? What if I wasn't just your employee? Alessia says. What if I was something else? Don't, Dante says. His voice rough. Don't offer something you don't mean. I have very little self-control where you're concerned. Who says I don't mean it? Alessia asks. You're angry, Dante says. Rightfully angry. You're not thinking clearly. I'm thinking very clearly, Alessia says. You want me. I find you interesting. We're both adults. Both aware of what we're doing. Why not? Because you'll regret it, Dante says. In the morning. In a week. Eventually you'll realize you got involved with your boss who deceived you. And you'll hate yourself. I'd rather you hate me than hate yourself. That's surprisingly considerate, Alessia says. For someone who lied to me for weeks. I contain multitudes, Dante says dryly. Alessia laughs. Actually laughs. You're insane. You know that. Completely, Dante agrees. But I'm honest about my insanity. That has to count for something. It counts for something, Alessia admits. They sit in silence. The tension between them thick. Electric. Dangerous. I should go, Alessia says. We both need space. Agreed, Dante says. But he doesn't move. Neither does Alessia. They stare at each other across the table. Two people who know they shouldn't want each other. Who want each other anyway. Finally, Alessia stands. I'm staying. For now. But we need boundaries. Real ones. That we both respect. Tell me what you need, Dante says. Space. Alessia says. Privacy. Truth. And no more deception. Done, Dante says. Anything else? Yeah, Alessia says. If this is going to work, me living here helping you maintain your cover, you need to stop looking at me like that. Like what? Dante asks. Like you're starving and I'm food, Alessia says. Dante's lips twitch. Almost a smile. I'll try. But I make no promises. Good enough, Alessia says. She leaves. Goes to her room. What the hell is she doing? She should have quit. Should have run. Instead she's staying. Playing along with his deception. Letting him pay her obscene amounts of money. And maybe, just maybe, she's as intrigued by him as he is by her. That's a problem. A big problem. But Alessia has never been good at walking away from problems. She's always preferred to walk straight into them. Over the next 2 months they settle into a routine. Alessia helps Dante maintain his cover. In public he's blind. She guides him. Assists him. Plays her role perfectly. In private there's something else. Not friends. Not lovers. Something in between. They talk. Really talk. About everything. Dante tells her about his childhood. Growing up in the Mafia. Watching his father run the family business. Learning young that showing weakness gets you killed. Alessia tells him about her family. Her father's restaurant. Her mother's death. The debt. The struggle. They understand each other. Two people trapped by circumstances. Doing what they have to do to survive. The attraction doesn't fade. If anything, it gets stronger. But they don't act on it. Maintain professional boundaries. Until one night, Alessia has a nightmare. Wakes up screaming. Dante hears her through the connecting door. Comes into her room without thinking. Alessia, he says. You're okay. It's just a dream. Alessia is shaking. Crying. My mom. I dreamed about my mom dying. I was there. I watched her. She can't finish. Dante sits on the edge of her bed. Pulls her into his arms. It's okay. I've got you. Alessia clings to him. Sobs into his chest. Dante holds her. Strokes her hair. Comforts her. Eventually she calms down. Pulls back slightly. Looks up at him. Thank you, she whispers. Always, Dante says. They're close. Too close. Alessia can see every detail of his face. The scar on his cheek from the bombing. The gray eyes that hide nothing right now. She kisses him. Dante freezes. Then kisses her back. Hungry. Desperate. They break apart. Both breathing hard. We shouldn't, Dante says. I know, Alessia agrees. This is a bad idea, Dante continues. The worst, Alessia says. You might regret it, Dante warns. Maybe, Alessia admits. But I'm tired of pretending I don't want this. They stare at each other. Then Alessia pulls him back down. Kisses him again. Are you sure? Dante asks. Stop asking and just kiss me, Alessia says. Dante doesn't need to be told twice. If you're loving this story, hit that like button right now. And subscribe if you haven't already. The ending is going to blow your mind. Comment below. Do you think Alessia is making a mistake? The next morning, Alessia wakes up in Dante's bed. He's already awake, watching her. Morning, he says. Morning, she replies. Suddenly shy. That really happened. It did, Dante confirms. Any regrets? Alessia considers. Ask me again in a week. Dante almost smiles. Fair enough. They lie in comfortable silence. Then Alessia asks the question that's been forming in her mind. What happens now? What do you want to happen? Dante asks. I don't know, Alessia admits. I didn't exactly plan for this. Neither did I, Dante says. I planned to want you from a distance forever. To never touch you. To let you work here and leave eventually without ever knowing how I felt. That sounds miserable, Alessia says. It was, Dante agrees. But it was safer. For both of us. Safer how? Alessia asks. Dante is quiet for a moment. In my world, attachments are weaknesses. People I care about become targets. Leverage. That's why I don't do relationships. Don't do romance. It's too dangerous. So what am I? Alessia asks. A one-night thing? No, Dante says firmly. You're not that. But I don't know what you are. I've never let anyone this close before. Maybe we figure it out together, Alessia suggests. Dante looks at her. Something shifting in his expression. Maybe we do. But even as he says it, Alessia can see the fear underneath. Not fear of her. Fear of what caring about her could cost. In Dante Moretti's world, love isn't a gift. It's a liability. And they're both about to learn that lesson the hard way. 3 weeks later, Alessia's father calls. Someone came by the restaurant today, he says. His voice is shaking. Asking questions about you. About where you're working. About Dante Moretti. Alessia's blood runs cold. Who? I don't know. 2 men. Well-dressed. Dangerous looking. They said they were concerned friends. But the way they asked, he stops. Alessia, what have you gotten yourself into? Nothing, Papa. I'm fine. I'm safe. Are you sure? Because these men didn't seem like they were just asking questions. They seemed like they were planning something. Alessia hangs up. Finds Dante in his study. Someone approached my father, she says. Asked about me. About you. Dante's expression hardens. Describe them. Alessia tells him what her father said. Dante listens. Then picks up his phone. Makes a call. Find out who's been asking about Alessia Romano, he says. And her family. Now. He hangs up. Looks at Alessia. It might be nothing, he says. Routine surveillance. Someone checking up on the new caretaker. You don't believe that, Alessia says. No, Dante admits. I don't. Then what do you believe? Dante is quiet for a moment. I believe someone has figured out that you matter to me. And they're going to try to use you. Use me how? Alessia asks. To get to me, Dante says. To hurt me. To control me. Take your pick. Because we're together? Alessia asks. Because I let you get close, Dante says. This is exactly what I was afraid of. Why I don't do relationships. People I care about become targets. So what do we do? Alessia asks. I protect you, Dante says. Whatever it takes. Over the next week, Dante increases security around Alessia. Guards follow her everywhere. Her phone is monitored. Her movements tracked. She can't go anywhere without someone watching. It's suffocating. But it's also necessary. Because the men who approached her father weren't just asking questions. They were sending a message. Dante's enemies know about Alessia. Know she matters. And they're planning to use that. The attack comes on a Tuesday night. Alessia is at her father's restaurant. Visiting for the first time in weeks. 2 of Dante's guards are outside. Another inside, pretending to be a customer. Everything seems fine. Then the lights go out. Alessia hears scuffling. Shouts. Gunshots. When the lights come back on, both guards outside are dead. The one inside is unconscious. And 3 men are standing in the restaurant. Miss Romano, one of them says. You're coming with us. Alessia's father steps in front of her. You're not taking my daughter. The man smiles. Pulls out a gun. Points it at her father's head. I wasn't asking. They take Alessia to a warehouse on the south side. Tie her to a chair. Leave her alone for hours. She's terrified. But she's also thinking. Calculating. Looking for a way out. When the door finally opens, it's not one of the men who took her. It's someone else. Someone older. Well-dressed. Cold eyes. Miss Romano, he says. I'm Marco Calabrese. I believe you know my family. Calabrese. The family that tried to kill Dante. The family he's been destroying from the shadows. What do you want? Alessia asks. Dante Moretti, Marco says. He's taken everything from me. My brother. My territory. My business. All while pretending to be a blind invalid. You know, Alessia says. Of course I know, Marco says. Did you think you were the only one who figured it out? I've known for months. But knowing isn't enough. I need to destroy him. And you're going to help me. I won't help you do anything, Alessia says. You won't have a choice, Marco says. See, Dante cares about you. That's his weakness. And I'm going to exploit it. He pulls out a phone. Makes a call. Puts it on speaker. Moretti, Marco says. I have something that belongs to you. Silence on the other end. Then Dante's voice. Cold. Controlled. If you hurt her. You'll what? Marco interrupts. Kill me? You've been trying to do that for 2 years. You failed. I haven't been trying, Dante says. But I'm about to start. Big words from a blind man, Marco says. Oh wait. We both know that's not true, don't we? More silence. Then, what do you want? A trade, Marco says. You for her. Come to the old Calabrese warehouse. Alone. Unarmed. And I'll let your pretty caretaker go. And if I refuse? Then I'll send her back to you in pieces, Marco says. Starting with her fingers. He nods to one of his men. The man approaches Alessia with a knife. Dante, Alessia starts. Don't hurt her, Dante says quickly. I'll come. Alone. Give me an hour. 30 minutes, Marco says. Clock starts now. He hangs up. Alessia looks at the man holding the knife. At Marco. At the impossible situation. He'll come, Marco says. Men like Dante, they can't help themselves. They'd rather die than admit they can't save what they love. And then what? Alessia asks. You kill him? Take over his territory? Something like that, Marco says. Don't worry. If he cooperates, you might even survive. He leaves. Alessia is alone again. She has 30 minutes. Maybe less. She starts working on her restraints. Dante arrives in 28 minutes. Alone. As promised, Marco's men search him. No weapons. No phone. No backup. The blind man walks into a trap, Marco says. How poetic. Dante doesn't respond. Just looks around the warehouse. His eyes, visible now, sunglasses gone, scan the room. The exits. The guards. Alessia still tied to her chair. You okay? He asks her. I'm fine, Alessia says. You shouldn't have come. Wasn't a choice, Dante says. Marco laughs. Love. It makes fools of everyone. Even great men like you, Moretti. Let her go, Dante says. You have me. That's what you wanted. What I want is to watch you suffer, Marco says. Like I've suffered. Losing everything. Powerless to stop it. He pulls out a gun. Points it at Alessia. Let's start with her, shall we? Wait, Dante steps forward. Hands raised. You wanted me. Take me. Kill me. Whatever you're planning. But let her go first. She has nothing to do with our war. She has everything to do with it, Marco says. She's the reason you're standing here. The reason you walked into my trap. The reason you're going to die knowing you couldn't save the woman you love. He cocks the gun. Dante's expression doesn't change. But something shifts in his posture. Something dangerous. You're making a mistake, Dante says quietly. The only mistake was letting you live 2 years ago, Marco says. I won't make it again. He aims at Alessia. Dante moves. It happens so fast Alessia can barely track it. Dante grabs the nearest guard. Uses him as a shield. Takes his gun. Fires 3 shots. 2 guards drop. Dead. Marco spins toward Dante. Fires. Misses. Dante fires back. Hits Marco in the shoulder. Marco drops his gun. Falls. The remaining guards raise their weapons. And the doors explode open. Vincent leads a team of Dante's men into the warehouse. Gunfire erupts. Bodies fall. In 30 seconds it's over. Marco's men are dead or dying. Marco himself is on the ground. Bleeding. Cursing. Dante walks over to Alessia. Cuts her restraints. Pulls her into his arms. I'm sorry, he says. I'm so sorry. You came for me, Alessia says. Always, Dante says. I'll always come for you. Behind them, Vincent approaches Marco. Gun drawn. What do you want done with him, sir? Dante turns. Looks at the man who kidnapped Alessia. Who threatened to kill her. Who tried to use her against him. Take him somewhere quiet, Dante says. I'll deal with him personally. Marco laughs. Blood on his teeth. You think this ends anything? Kill me and someone else takes my place. There's always someone else. You'll never be free of this. Neither will she. Dante crouches down. Meets Marco's eyes. Let me tell you something, Dante says quietly. For 2 years I pretended to be blind. Let everyone think I was weak. Used that weakness as a weapon. You want to know why? Marco doesn't answer. Because in this world, the biggest threats aren't the ones you can see, Dante continues. They're the ones you never saw coming. You thought I was finished? Crippled? Helpless? You underestimated me. He stands. Don't underestimate me again. He nods to Vincent. Vincent drags Marco away. Alessia takes Dante's hand. What happens now? Dante looks at her. Now I finish what I started. No more hiding. No more pretending. Everyone finds out the truth. You're dropping the blindness act? It served its purpose, Dante says. But it's time. And I'm not going to hide anymore. Not from my enemies. And not from you. The next week, Dante Moretti makes a public appearance. First one in 2 years. He walks into a meeting with the heads of every crime family in Chicago. No cane. No sunglasses. No pretense. Just Dante Moretti. Fully sighted. Fully dangerous. Gentlemen, he says. I believe we have some things to discuss. The room goes silent. Every man there looks at him like they're seeing a ghost. Because they are. The blind Mafia boss. The crippled leader they'd written off. The man they thought they could ignore. He's been watching them the whole time. Seeing everything. And now he's done hiding. One by one they start to understand. Every move they made thinking he couldn't see. Every secret they thought was safe. Every betrayal they thought was hidden. He knows. He's always known. And now there's nowhere left to hide. 6 months later, Dante Moretti controls more of Chicago than any mob boss in history. The Calabrese family is gone. Other rivals have fallen in line or fallen dead. And by his side through all of it is Alessia. She's not a caretaker anymore. Not an employee. Not a pawn. She's his partner. His equal. The woman who saw through his deception and stayed anyway. There at his mansion. Standing on the balcony overlooking Lake Michigan. The city spread out beneath them. Regrets? Dante asks. About what? Any of it, Dante says. Staying. This life. Alessia considers. Some days, when I think about how different things could have been. If I'd walked away that first night, found a normal job, a normal life. You could still have that, Dante says. If you wanted, I'd let you go. Set you up somewhere safe. Give you everything you need. I know, Alessia says. That's why I stay. Because I'd let you leave? Because you don't try to keep me, Alessia says. Because you respect that it's my choice. Because you're honest about who you are, even when who you are is terrifying. Dante turns to her. Takes her hands. I love you, he says. I should have said it months ago. But I was afraid. Afraid that saying it would make it real. Make you a target. Put you in danger. I was already in danger, Alessia says. From the moment I took this job. I know, Dante says. But I can protect you now. Really protect you. Not hide you away but stand with you. If you want that. What exactly are you asking? Dante reaches into his pocket. Pulls out a small box. I'm asking you to marry me, he says. Not because it makes you safer. Not because it gives you status. But because I can't imagine my life without you in it. Alessia stares at the ring. Then at him. You realize this is insane, she says. Completely, Dante agrees. I'd be marrying a mob boss who faked blindness for 2 years. Yes. Who watched me before I knew he could see. Also yes. Who is probably the most dangerous man I've ever met. Almost certainly, Dante says. Alessia laughs. Takes the ring. Slides it onto her finger. Ask me again in a week if I regret it, she says. Dante smiles. Really smiles. Is that a yes? That's a yes, Alessia confirms. He kisses her. Long. Like he never wants to let her go. When they break apart, Alessia looks at the city below them. They're going to talk, she says. The families. Everyone. About us. Let them, Dante says. I spent 2 years pretending to be weak. Now they can watch me be strong. With me beside you? With you beside me, Dante confirms. Always. They stand together on the balcony. 2 people who found each other in the most unlikely circumstances. Who built something real out of lies and danger and impossible odds. In Dante's world, love was always a weakness. But Alessia taught him something different. Love isn't weakness if you're strong enough to protect it. And Dante Moretti is the strongest man in Chicago. 1 year later. Alessia stands in the doorway of Dante's study. Watching him work. He knows she's there, he always knows, but he doesn't look up immediately. How long are you going to stare at me? He asks. Until you look at me, she says. He looks up. Sees her standing there. Something in her expression he can't quite read. What is it? He asks. I have news, Alessia says. And I'm not sure how you're going to react. Dante sets down his pen. Gives her his full attention. Tell me. Alessia walks into the room. Sits across from him. Takes a deep breath. I'm pregnant. Silence. Long heavy. Then Dante is moving. Coming around the desk. Pulling her to her feet. Holding her so tight she can barely breathe. You're sure? He asks. 3 tests, Alessia says. And a doctor's confirmation. I'm sure. Dante pulls back. Looks at her. And for the first time since she's known him, she sees something in his eyes she's never seen before. Fear. Dante, she says. A child, he says. Our child. In this life. This world. I know, Alessia says. It's terrifying. It's everything, Dante corrects. It's everything I never thought I'd have. Are you happy? Alessia asks. Dante kisses her. Soft. Reverent. Like she's the most precious thing in the world. I'm terrified, he admits. And I'm happier than I've ever been in my life. Good answer, Alessia says. They stand together. Holding each other. Thinking about the future they're building. Alessia came to this house as a caretaker for a blind man. She discovered a deception. Fell in love with a monster. Married into a world of violence and shadows. And now she's bringing new life into that world. It should be terrifying. It is terrifying. But she's not afraid. Because she knows something now that she didn't know a year ago. Dante Moretti would burn the world down to protect what he loves. And he loves her. So let the world try to threaten her. Let his enemies try to use her. Let anyone try to hurt her or their child. They won't survive it. Because the blind mafia boss never was blind. He saw everything. And what he saw when he looked at her was worth more than all his power and territory combined. He saw the woman who would make him human again. And he was never going to let her go. That's the story of Alessia and Dante. A fake disability that became a weapon. A caretaker who became something more. And a love built on lies that somehow ended up being the most honest thing either of them had ever known. If you love this story, hit that like button and subscribe. Comment below. What would you have done in Alessia's position? Would you have stayed or run? And check out this story over here. It's just as intense, maybe even more so. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.